Hello, good evening students. I'm Patodia from IIT Roorkee. At askIItians, I'm a mathematics mentor for the students who are preparing for JEE Main and Advanced, and at foundation level students who are preparing for competitive exams in addition to their school exam. So, very good evening to all of you. Welcome to the webinar at askIItians. As all of you must be knowing, askIItian is the leading online education company in India. So today, we are continuing our previous webinar series. Last week, you must have interacted with one of my colleague, Miss Sakshi. She was also from IIT Roorkee. So today we are going to discuss about mathematics plan. So here I am. So we will be discussing about the mathematics plan in the remaining time which we are having for JEE Main and Advanced. So basically, I have categorized like 6 months is roughly equivalent to 180 days. If I am talking about the remaining days for JEE Main and Advanced, you get 1 month more for Advanced. So we are calculating till JEE Main, okay, which will be in first week of April, right? So roughly we are having 170 days left for that. So what we have observed over the years and what we have planned, that if we divide our preparation in 4 stages, 1 physics, chemistry, maths, which can go parallelly, and last phase will be for all the combined preparation, right? So let us say if I am preparing for mathematics right now, okay, so I'll be spending some days on that, then again chemistry, then again physics, maths, like that, right? But there will be a time when we have to do all the things simultaneously. Means we have to give combined test, combined preparation on the same day. So basically, you are left with around 6 to 7 weeks per subject, and remaining 30 days last for all test series and whatever things you can do, right? So we have basically planned complete things for the student, which will definitely help them how to conquer JEE Main and Advanced. JEE Main still on the cards, even if you have not started preparing. JEE Advanced, definitely you have to work hard, and as the tips shared by Ms. Sakshi in the last webinar, you have to stick to that. Okay, so let us begin the discussion that how we can do JEE Main and Advanced in next 6 weeks, okay? So before we start our preparation, okay, before we start doing anything, so what should be our aim? We should always first have a game plan. Like if I'm saying this is a game which I'm playing, that for winning this game, I need to know the rules of the game. I need to know what it takes to pass that game, right? And about the different thing, if I'm talking about this JEE Main and Advanced, paper pattern, most scoring topics, and last 2 points are again very, very important. First 3 points, most of the people you can get, and most of the people, they try to follow those things, those 3 things, but last 2 things, again, very, very important in the competitive world. Knowing the rules of the game basically covers knowing about the competition, that how many people are appearing, how many people qualify JEE Main, how many people qualify JEE Advanced, followed by cutoffs. Like if I want to clear JEE Main, okay, I understood that paper pattern is so and so, this is a syllabus, right? So after that, what is the passing criteria? What are the passing marks? So for that, we need to be very clear about last 4-5 years trend. So as we can say, JEE Main cutoffs goes around 30%, even less than that, right? But for a safer side, if I keep JEE Main, that is of 360 marks, and 30% is roughly equivalent to 108 marks. So out of 90 questions, I'm expected to attempt around 30 questions correct on the safer side. Fine. So again, paper pattern I'll be discussing again. So paper pattern basically for JEE Main and Advanced, both of them will be different. So knowing the rules of the game, we basically cover about the competition. 15 lakh people, they are taking the paper. What we need to do if we want to clear JEE Advanced to get into top 10,000 people. So that is what we are targeting here. So first, our aim is to get into top 50,000 so that we get a good seat in NITs. Obviously, 2.2 lakh people qualify for JEE Advanced. Doesn't mean we have to just clear main, because if we are just getting rank of 1,50,000, we are eligible for advanced, but if we do not clear advanced, then there is nowhere to go. We will not get any good college at that rank. So basically top 50,000, from top 15 lakh to top 50,000. So for that we need to know what is the minimum number of marks that we need to ensure. So first thing that we should note here is that even out of 15 lakh people, 13 lakh people are not able to score even 30%. That is the main point. Now the reason behind that is most of the people, they are not knowing about the pattern, negative marking and all. So they tend to attempt many questions, and it's a myth. Even if I ask many of you guys, so you people will say 70%, 80% should be the passing mark. Those who are not knowing, obviously by 12th grade, at the end of 12th grade, even if you are not knowing, then you are not in for the preparation for sure. But yeah, these things you should know. Then if in order to score in top 50,000, our scores roughly should be 180 plus. If we are scoring like cutoffs are 110, 115, so in order to get in top 50,000, on a safer side, it should be 160, 170 plus at least. 180 to be on the safer side. After that, if you move on to 200 like that, so you have an exponential jump, very sharp jump. Okay. So about the paper pattern now, cutoffs we will be discussing as we'll be talking about more branches and all. And obviously, if you want in detail of any of the topics, you can join the link which is provided in the comments by our team, and you can have one-on-one interaction with any of our team members, IITians. Even I can, if you want to talk with me as well directly, so you can just log into the given link provided to you, and you can get a chance to interact with the IITians directly. So basically, paper pattern JEE main is standardized 90 questions plus 4 minus 1, 30 from chemistry, physics, maths each, and the paper is quite standardized. You have approximately got 86, 87 topics across grade 11th and 12th. So there is not any partiality in the distribution for JEE main, whereas in JEE advanced, obviously you'll see it is biased in few topics, and some topics are not coming over last 4-5 years. So basically JEE main ke liye I will suggest you guys that if I'm targeting around 160, 170s, it means roughly I'm going for 40-45 attempts out of 90. Okay, it means if I prepare 60 topics properly, 60 topics if I prepare properly, so 80% if I'm able to do in the exam, I will be able to touch 48-50 questions like that, right? Which should be sufficient if you are targeting a score around 160, 170. Keeping in mind, we are only attempting those questions which we are very sure of, right? So we have got 180 days, even if I calculate like this way, 170 days, 60 chapters, 3 days for a chapter for a JEE main is too much. You can prepare it. Just I'll be showing you one more thing here. So something like this, okay? As you people can see here, if I'm talking about this thing, mind map and study planners, which obviously you can get at askIItians as well. You can just download our this link and go to it and browse through it. So basically, if I'm talking about this, as you can see, matrices and determinants. And second, I've put here application of derivative binomial, right? So as we can see, we can work according to weightages, right? So in case of binomial, we can see its weightage is very less in JEE main and advanced. As if I look at application of derivative, JEE main is 4 and JEE advanced is 6. If it is visible to you guys, it's 6. Otherwise, it's here. And if I go to the previous slide, for probability, it's coming out to be 7% in JEE main and advanced both. So this is a sure chapter that I will be attempting in next 6 months from mathematics. So like this, if I pick 50-55 odd topics out of 85-90 topics that we have for JEE main and advanced, we can surely succeed. And definitely, instead of taking the burden of all instead of taking burden for all the stuff, we just need to put focus on few topics, right? So basically, this was the study planner, which obviously we at askIItians provide. And again, our preparation is very much focused towards the strategical preparation. In our crash courses, we are dealing with the same kind of strategy. Instead of going for theory of everything, we pick up the selected subtopics, not only topics like probability. From probability also, there are 3-4 questions possible which can come in advance. From Bayes' theorem, if you people are familiar with that, then conditional probability, conditional arrangement based probability. So these 4-5 types of questions are coming in JEE Advanced over the year. Like this, we can nail it down to the micro level for each of our topics, which is definitely very helpful, right? So that was in fact our 4th point, if you have seen that thing. So most scoring topics, if I am telling, so that is where we are focusing. Okay, this is most scoring topics, so we need to have that list. That is very important, right? And that obviously you can get it Ask IITians. Just fill your counseling form, get in touch with an IITian, and you will be shared with that list, right? Secondly, about your strength and weaknesses. Now this is something which teachers cannot help you with, right? So if I'm having, let us say, mathematics, I'm good at probability, I'm weak in integration. Now how do I know it? So basically, the first thing that obviously will be our first step for the preparation, that we need to evaluate ourselves by attempting a question paper and looking in that, okay, what kind of questions we are able to attempt. Strength and weakness is not something related to the interest or disinterest. It's what we are able to deliver and what we are able to solve during the exam. So basically, we can have 2-3 mock papers before we start our preparation, just to see that out in JEE Main, if I'm attempting out of 90 questions, what are the areas I'm able to score and what are the areas I need to study. This is where our studies will begin. So first we'll be making a chart that, okay, now we have scoring topics as well, with in case we are made with that, we are done with that list. So among those 60 topics or 50 topics, what are my strengths and what are my weaknesses? Obviously, topics which are of less weightage, do not neglect them, but they have to be done at the last priority. If you still have time after completing the 6-week, or you are able to complete the 6-week schedule, which I'll be giving very soon, right? So coming to the next point, strengths and weaknesses, these are being done in the tabular form. Scoring topics are on the list. Paper pattern, competition, cutoffs, everything you have, mindset is there. Now you are quite ready to face the competition and you are equipped with all the knowledge that needs to be improvised. Now only thing is you need to execute on those strengths, weaknesses, the strategies. That again, I'll be sharing few of them. To get the better idea of those things, you need to basically download our app, or maybe you can just go to the links and have a chat with the Ask IITian faculty. Okay, so coming to the next point. Yeah, this is a detail of our crash course also. In case you are interested after webinar, you can just click on the link, and that link will be there in chat also. So you will be learning, not only learning with pace and learning with strategy. That's what we definitely provide at Ask IITians, right? So now coming to the maths. Now these are the basic 5 pillars of mathematics. If I talk about, as you can see, calculus is on the top, followed by geometry, algebra, trigonometry, miscellaneous. Now miscellaneous is something very important for main. Miscellaneous I have not kept anything for advanced. Advanced we covered, although we say that syllabus for CBSE main advanced is same, but there are few differences. When we talk about advanced, there are few topics which are not there in the syllabus for advanced. Basically we studied for CBSE and it definitely comes in main. So those chapters I have kept in miscellaneous, and these are the must do for everyone because they take minimum effort, 1 day, 2 day effort, and you can actually score 4 questions in main, which can actually create a difference of 16 marks, and that's a huge. And every year it is observed that many students are neglecting those topics. Why? Again, they are not being taught in various institutes and all. But definitely we have definitely got a team who is analyzing, and we ourselves are working on the paper pattern analysis over the years, and we have figured out that miscellaneous part that I'll be sharing with you guys. So that is actually coming very much in JEE Main, and most of the students, they are not able to do questions from that, right? So moving on to the calculus part. Okay, so calculus mein basically we are having differential and integral calculus, and as it is being observed that most of the students, they are not able to do well in integral calculus, and we hear every year that the weightage of integral calculus is too much. Okay, so basically here are the topics, and as you can see I have bold the few topics among them, especially in calculus. I'll be proposing a different strategy for everything. So this is just, we are first studying about maths, and then will be followed by a 6-week plan, which is the aim of this webinar obviously. And in case if you have any questions, please comment. I'll be discussing your questions and doubts at the end. Please start commenting and ask your doubts, whatever you want to have, and any suggestions from your end are definitely welcome. So as you can see, limit, continuity, and differentiation, then differentiability. Application of derivative is the area where obviously you need all the first three, but you don't need limits in that deep level if you're going to solve application of derivative question. Basically, application of derivative question every year they're coming on maxima, minima. Your functions need to be very good. I'll be talking about function in algebra. So function is the basic pillar of calculus. So if somebody is going to ask me, go choose one topic on which you have a confidence and you think that you can actually clear the exam, so I would name that chapter as function. Okay, it's possible that if you study only function with your basic knowledge of grade 11th and 12th, it is possible to crack, at least if not score good, clear the cutoffs for main and advanced, because 6 to 7 questions are, you can solve on the basic knowledge of function. It is used in integration also. You have piecewise functions, domain, range, a lot of concepts are there, which if you have a good graphing powers, transformation powers, you can actually solve them very well, right? So function obviously will be the basic, but if I'm talking about calculus, these three topics, application of derivative, definite integration, and differential equations, they are very important for JEE Advanced. And as well as main, if I talk about, as I've said, main does not have any bias for in chapter. You will have a uniform distribution. For those who are not good in calculus and they are targeting main, okay, so they can leave main for now, just calculus for now. They can keep it for the end. Just do basic differentiation and limits question, and that will be sufficient to attempt few questions from calculus. Integration, because it takes around 1.5 months, which is too much. In that we can actually cover whole geometry and few topics of algebra, so it's better to cover those topics because they are relatively easier to score. And if I talk about this thing, differential equation, now this has actually risen from last 3-4 years. If we are observing, every year you are having a question on linear differential equation in JEE Advanced, which is again very easy to score. So do not leave this chapter at all. You can expect up to 2 questions from differential equations if I'm talking about calculus. So if you leave any topic, definite integration again is very important, but differential equation is very easy to score. That is the main thing. Coming to the geometry, second pillar, as I was talking about, as you can see, straight line, circle, conics, vectors, 3D geometry, right? Now this branch we are supposed to do before calculus, that I'll be showing in my plan as well. So because what is the advantage, although you will see geometry weightage is little less than calculus, but the time it takes to complete geometry is 1/10 or I would say 1/5 of calculus. And if I'm saying in the weightage wise 40-30 ratio, 4:3 ratio is there, and preparation time is 5:1. So definitely it gives me an edge. I can prepare it in shorter time. Even after preparation, even if we have completed the preparation, the geometry questions take less time in paper to solve as compared to calculus. So therefore, if somebody is solving 10 questions from calculus and 10 questions from geometry or 8 questions from geometry, the time taken to solve geometry questions is very, very less as compared to calculus questions. So if I talk about among these 5, vector 3D is a must. You get 3-4 questions in main and 3-4 questions in advanced for sure. And there are only 2-3 concepts which are coming: vector isolation, vector triple product. And from 3D geometry, if I am talking about questions based on your line, your planes, perpendicular from line to plane, or like that, questions like that directly are coming, where equation of plane and equation of line are asked in 3 dimensions. If I talk about straight lines, again, straight lines is not directly being asked in last 2-3 years, but yeah, it's there definitely in advance, and it indirect usage is finding the tangents and normal, which definitely you cannot do without the basic of straight lines. So straight line will be applicable in circles and conics, and in conics also it's parabola which is coming, leading the marks. If I talk about hyperbola and ellipse are being asked less as compared to parabola and circles. So these two concepts again you need to do very well. Ellipse and hyperbola, they are having similar concepts except for the equation and 2-3 points. So the best way to prepare conics in your last 6 week, I'll be mentioning the plan also. There you have to basically go through the complete chart. If possible, get A1, A2 size chart, paste it on your wall, and start marking the lines, and start from circles, then parabola, ellipse, hyperbola, list all the properties, and it definitely helps. If you make that chart, it will take 1 whole day, 2 whole days, but within 15 days your conics will be absolutely too good. You just have to get a good guidance, obviously, and if you have a good book source, obviously you can make notes from that, and it will be very, very easy. At the end you will realize it's boring, I understand, because I myself, when I was preparing for JEE, I did this chapter at the end, and thank God I did. Because of this, the paragraph based on parabola came in that year, and it actually helped me solving 3 problems. So if I would have left conics, I would have definitely regretted. And not only that year, okay, I have been observing every year you're having 2-3 questions easily from conics and circles, and in JEE main and other competitive exams, if you're targeting, there also this is being asked frequently. So geometry is very, very small as compared to calculus, very easy to score. It's little bit, I would say, for those who are not good at visualization, so it's little bit boring, but yeah, you can make it interesting by making figures and all. That is lagging in most of the students, that they don't draw diagrams while solving. Talking about algebra, so as I've mentioned, function, this is a one-man army. If I'm talking about functions, so it is a one-man army, and you basically get to solve all the questions from function if you are good in composite functions, domain range, right? And it helps in calculus for sure, right? Secondly, followed by functions, again you are looking at theory of equations, complex number, linear equalities. Theory of equations, again quadratic is just a name in CBSE, but the question gets up to the degree of 4, 5, 6 in JEE. Again, for performing these 3 groups, theory of equation, complex number, linear equalities, these have to be done together. You cannot leave one of them and do other, because questions are coming from mixed concepts. For solving theory of equations and complex number, again, from geometry you need conics in complex numbers, and you need application of derivative for solving the theory of equations. Followed by, now this is a very, very good chunk of 4 chapters, sequence series, binomial, probability, permutation. Mind it, people think sequence and series is the most important topic among these 4, but that is the least important in terms of weightage if I'm talking about. So nowadays questions on probability, permutation, they are coming in heavy numbers, and in across all the exams, even in post-graduation exams, if you look at probability, permutation questions are very common, and same is happening in the IIT JEE Advanced as well and main, okay? So you need to be very good in probability and permutations, okay? And obviously binomial and sequence series, if you do, added advantage. Followed by matrices and determinants. Now last year it was observed heavy marks, like around 10-11% of the total marks came from matrices and determinants. Again, very I would say scoring chapter, but the problem with this chapter can come that you might get some questions which are difficult, really not easy to solve, complex determinants. But again, if you feel that you're good in matrices and determinants, you can do a lot of practice and you have been doing it, then you can definitely go for this chapter as well in your top. If we are here to cut down our shortlist to top 50, top 40 chapters. So matrices and determinants, I will categorize in your top 40 if it is your strength. Outside 40, do not touch it if you're not comfortable in this topic. Coming to trigonometry, again, a lot of people think trigonometry is a very, very important chapter in terms of the weightage and all. But actually, direct questions, they are not coming very much from trigonometry. Only if you see trigonometric equation, 1 or 2 questions. And if I talk about solution of triangle. So in that is an area where people are having fear these days. Not these days, but from my days itself, they are not basically very comfortable in solutions of triangle. Many students, even when I am teaching in the class, so this is a chapter where students are struggling. But do not worry, there are only 5-6 areas where JEE will ask questions from this. Don't go from your packages or respective preparation guides from where you are preparing. A lot of things are given for preparation in that, but you don't need to go for concepts like X circle, X center, then half angle formulas, then you have MN theorem, like that. So basically these you can keep, they are all logical and they can all be derived. You basically need to very focus on the concepts of in radius, circumradius, sine and cosine rule. If you are good in that, an area of triangle, semi-perimeter, these 5-6 concepts can actually help you to get through all the question. You can pick up JEE Advanced 2015 paper, 14 paper, and just these 6-7 concepts which I mentioned. There is nothing outside these things. Coming to the next thing which I have kept for the main, main JEE main paper. I told you that I'll be mentioning about miscellaneous. Now you can say seriously this can come. Those who have not given paper, they are not knowing these things. That mathematical reasoning, one question sure. Mathematical induction, one question with more than 80% chances. Height and distance, again a 10th grade topic, again application of trigonometry you can say. It's not a part of JEE Advanced, but yeah, in JEE Main, questions are there asked from this. Statistics, obviously there is one question for sure. So you can expect 3 to 4 questions from this 4 topics absolutely in JEE Main. Do not leave these 4 topics if you seriously want to crack JEE Main in your remaining days. Make sure you are doing these chapters at the end, not now, because these are again not in grade 12th. So you will be looking for them around, after your boards are over, or if you get time somewhere in January, then we will be putting it in the last phase. So that these, if you do before, after this you do calculus, geometry, again it's gone, right? So this is a topic which definitely is on the cards and a must to do for all the JEE Main aspirants. Advanced, obviously we need to qualify first JEE Main before advanced, so these are must do topics for everyone. So after this, let us look, so you can just have a counseling session live with an IITian if you want to discuss about these topics in detail. Now I have told you about the topics, about the respective weightages, but when we are discussing in our live classrooms, we go at subtopic level. We discuss with most of the students not only about like probabilities coming, but yeah, which particular subtopic or which particular part of that topic can come in the exams. And definitely till now it's working, and definitely we hope whatever our team and we have analyzed over a few years is definitely going to help you cracking JEE this year as well. So you can just click the link and you can that's in the comments. You can just go through it, and definitely if you have any queries you can discuss live with our team, and that counseling will be free of cost. There will be no charges for that, right? So coming to our now the preparation plan. Now how we are going to categorize, like how we'll be categorizing our 6 week, and this is the plan. If you follow it, definitely JEE Main is on the cards. For JEE Advanced, you people have to take off from your school, because that is not that easy to cover within the time frame given. For that you need to have 15 hours each day, which is again, if you have that dedication, then only go for that. Otherwise for week 1, you have to start with the mock test. As I've mentioned, those who are targeting advanced, they should directly go for JEE Advanced. At least 2 tests you have to go to judge what are your strengths, what are your weaknesses, and what is your current position. That is very important to know. If I say a student scores 70%, right? A few days back I was having a talk with a parent. The parent said like student marks are not that good. He told like even after joining askIItians, right? He scored 73 in maths out of 100. Okay, in grade 11th I'm talking, and parents was not satisfied. Then we asked that what was the previous marks and all. Now previously student was again 8 CGPA student in grade 10, which is again these days getting 9 or 9.5 is very easy. And we had a previous look so we told, like, obviously if you see growth, if you see from where the student is improving, we cannot do magic and make directly 100. Nobody can do, right? So basically it's very important to evaluate where you start. If you are your current position, you feel that you are at 25-30%, you're able to solve, it means you are through with the cutoffs. JEE Advanced and Main, I was talking, I told that we'll be discussing it later on in our plan. So if I'm saying to 25% is the minimum marks that we need to clear for JEE Advanced, and I'm able to score 30% in my present, right? It means I'm above that. Now my aim will be to cross 40%, 45% barrier. I should not target directly rank 1 or rank 5 or first 3 digits. First, my aim is to improve my percentage from 30 to 40. Gradually, each percent means at least 4 to 6 mark. So if I'm talking about 4 mark, means I have to prepare one additional topic, right? And I need to execute that on the day of exam. So basically, we need to judge where we are standing right now. Very important step, which most of our students don't do before starting the preparation. After that, as I mentioned, list down your weaknesses, subject wise, then topic wise. For maths, I recommend to start with geometry and try to complete, like I've given you 5 days. First day goes in test evaluation, making your strength weakness. So 5 days you can utilize to complete the theory. Obviously, you can purchase askIItians self-study package if you're not interested for live courses. So in that, you will be getting videos which can actually accelerate your preparation. Not only you just prepare the theory in 2.5 hours, but it explains you the visualization of most of the concepts and bridging the gap between the JEE and the CBSE preparation. So definitely at the end of the funnel, if you complete the self-study package, so you will be able to complete questions also from that, and you will be able to ensure your 5 to 6 days are spent worthily in these 4 or 5 topics. Obviously, every week will be concluded by the test of what we have done in the last 6 days, whether that was worth it, whether we need to improve more, whether we need to extend it to the next week. So that, because whatever we are doing here, we cannot leave any scope of mistake in that concept, because already we are not aiming for 100% right now. Obviously, if we are completing in 3 days, right, so we can do more topics. For the second week, we can complete in the first week. So obviously, it's a plan for an average student. It's not for very high-fi student and not for very poor student. Obviously, you people have to modulate your speed according to the pace given. So 5 days I've given for straight lines, circles and conics, which should be very sufficient if your basics at school level are clear and you follow some good guidance. Definitely you require good guidance during these 6 months. Otherwise, whatever time frame we have given, it is not possible, right? So at the end of the week, you have to give at least 3 to 4 tests. And the most important part is analysis. Do not believe just giving 10 tests, I am getting a score of 60-70%. Okay, no. I need to see where I am lagging. Let us say the 30% which we were not able to solve, question came from that, right? So if during our analysis, if we are able to complete that part, definitely that will help in our final exam. So talking about this first week, and again one more important thing which I'll be bringing here, that if you are done with a chapter, okay, do not think that is a must to do in a JEE Advanced. Don't go for your ego problem, this thing I have done very much in depth. Suppose a tough question comes, it's taking more than 10 minutes. There is no use even if you are able to solve after 10 minutes. Given time is approx 3 to 4 minutes for each question. If anything goes beyond 5 minutes, it's as good as not solving that problem, because if we lose a time of one another question, so there we might have done 2 questions in that time, which we might not be able to attempt, because this is the reaction of half of the crowd which comes after JEE Main and Advanced, that at the end some questions were left which were very easy. If we would have done that, it would have been easy for us to clear the cutoff, or our marks would have been better. So we need to screen out the paper, leave those questions which are lengthy, and that comes by practice. Once you solve the test, so you'll observe every time, if I talk about, let us say, concept of straight lines, in that homogenization, then getting an angle at a particular point, tangents and all. Sometimes questions, they are coming from tangent from one curve is caught to another curve, and then normal to the third. So obviously this is the three process. We are getting it from the question itself, right? So we should not touch those questions in the first go of our attempt. We should keep it for the second innings. So whenever we are solving any competitive exam, we have to solve it in two innings. First inning is the 20-20, where we have to score very quickly, and we should save, our wickets for the second inning, right? And second inning is the one where we should minimize our attempt. We should only attempt when we are sure, because if we have played first innings well and we know we are through with the cutoffs, so definitely that will help to enhance your scores. So coming to the second week now. So second week you have to complete vector and 3D part, which was left obviously. Now some students, they are able to complete this whole geometry in 1 week, but I have kept the level of student average here, and I am giving 2 days extra for the preparation of geometry. And this is very, very important. As we have seen, the weightage is roughly around 9 to 10% for this one also. If I am saying 4 questions out of 40 in mathematics, if I am talking about, or out of 36, like last year it was 18 questions in advanced, and 30 questions out of 30, 2-3 questions in main is coming. So roughly 10% weightage is very good, if keeping in mind 25 is a cutoff, right? So basically this is a must do, even if it is your weakness, or whatever way you need to do. Go for one-on-one classes for this chapter with any your school teacher or any source. If you want to discuss with the teachers at askIItian, this chapter is a must do if you really want to score well in JEE Main and Advanced. Then after that, before starting calculus, because calculus I've kept in the third phase. The reason behind that is many students, they think they are good in calculus, but the question level is very difficult in advanced from calculus as compared to algebra and geometry. So functions you can work upon, that is a must do. I have not kept it in calculus because of this reason only, because even if you are not doing calculus very well at the advanced level, going through the functions very well will definitely help us in solving 2 to 3 questions in both the papers respectively. And by the second week, I have definitely given this 3 topics too much time. Again, complex number are kept optional, because again, very few topics are coming from it, and last 2-3 years have seen a gradual decrease in the complex number. Hardly one problem in matrix matching, and that not to complete one is coming. And if you are preparing it, make sure you do complex root of unities and nth powers of unity. Euler form also is very important. And in theory of equations, if you are talking about, so theory of equations, again, functional equations are there. Then you have got graphs of quadratic and all, very important. You need to be very, very good in graphs while preparing for theory of equations. And function, composite function, domain, range. Keep focusing on these things. And in conics, you have to do tangent and normal. Vector 3D I have already mentioned. Plane you have to do. Then you have to go for vector isolation, which is a very important topic, using vector triple product, scalar product. In case if you are facing any doubts in the topics which I am mentioning, you can definitely visit our website and have a discussion with askIItians members directly. So coming to the third week plan, now once we are done with this thing, again test you have to give for vector 3D as well, that you have to give within first 2 days if possible, right? Then 4 days you are having for function, 2 days you can take for functions, and theory of equations combined you can take 3 days. Complex number optional if you are able to complete. Weightage is not that good in advanced and main this in frequent years. And again, even if it is there, the questions are not that easy to crack from complex numbers. The chapter is also complex numbers, and so are the questions from complex numbers. Now time to begin with the calculus. Now again here I will say those who feel that they are not good in calculus, they are having a phobia for that, they should not spend the complete week in calculus, but few topics which I mentioned earlier. Those who are very good in limits, derivatives, integrals, they can work upon within week 3. The 3 topics which I have mentioned, differential equation, definite integration, these are a must do. You will find at least 7 to 8 problems from these 3 topics. So you have to spend whole week in solving previous year questions, and you have to solve the mock papers. Obviously test series will be the key in this whole process, and if you want exclusively test series also, that also askIITian is providing apart from the crash course, self-study packages. So whatever according to your need, you can have a counseling with askIITian faculty. If you are interested, you can go for crash course. You don't want it, you just want test series, you can go for that. You don't want that, you just want to have self-study packages. Now those are pre-recorded videos by askIITian faculties from various IITs, and they have basically simplified the things in just 2 to 3 hours movie, and that too in 10 to 12 parts for each chapter. And it does not only have theory, previous year question papers, important books, everything it has got. The study planner which I have mentioned, it has got that also. Mind map where you get a summary of all the formulas and everything, that is also available. So conclude this third week again by test paper. Now those who are not good in calculus, they should not spend whole week wasting in that. They can just touch these 3-4 topics. Application of derivative again requires some concept of minima maxima, which you can, even if you're not very good in limits and all, you can still do with the help of previous year questions and practice. So these 3 topics are not at all difficult. They have prerequisite but not advanced. Differential equation, you will have linear differential equation solution, in which again you need to basically do not need to be pro in integration. Basic f dash by fx, f dash into f dash, dash into fx dx. These kind of functions, if you are able to integrate, it will be very easy for you to manage that. Now coming to the week 4 plan, so week 4 will be like our checkpoint. Now once we have prepared calculus, little bit of geometry, and 1-2 topics from geometry, so we can just have a pause and see. Now if we are through with the first 3 weeks, test is okay, our preparation is going well, and we have segregated the important topics, right? So now week 4 is for the complete test series. Give at least 2 papers each day with analysis, okay, from JEE main advanced level, and you can definitely get an edge in this week because you are now prepared with already 15 questions. You can 15-16 questions you can easily answer in main by the first 3 week preparation only. Even if I'm saying, let us say you're able to attempt 80% of that, 12 questions if you're able to attempt in JEE main, then definitely you are through that 25%, 30% line, right? Out of 30, you need to score 9 questions in maths, and you're already through with and I've given you for main 4 other topics, right, which we are still to do, right? So definitely main is definitely on if we have gone through this thing for the 3 weeks. We have completed this thing. Before continuing this thing, I would like to answer a few questions that I have received. Books of geometry. Obviously, if you want to go for books of geometry, you don't need to pay too much for extra books on geometry. You can go for SK Goel, ML Khanna. They have got good source of questions for attempting in geometry. And for theory, obviously, you will see that theory from advanced is only main, it's more in case of conics, right? Which is well covered in ML Khanna and SK Goel. Either of them is very good. Plus, as I've mentioned, you can try, sample videos from askIITian package also. That is having complete description of each topic from these good books only. Now, weightage of straight lines, somebody has asked for the weightage of straight lines. Again, straight lines, you will not see direct question like, find the perpendicular. Straight line you will get, but in 3D, okay, not as 2-dimensional, but you will get questions on tangents and normals. Okay, you will get questions on tangents and normals on straight lines. So basically that will be important thing. You need to be very good in normal form, parametric form, and pair of lines. Weightage wise, if you say, you can expect 1 question in JEE main, but in advance you will get question on straight line from your direction, cosines and all in 3D. Very less probability of coming question directly from straight line based on the solution of straight line only. You will get straight line in form of tangent and normal to the different curves. And induction, if you are talking about induction, inequality questions are coming on the basis of like what is the least value of n for which the inequality is there. Obviously there are other methods to solve that, but using inductions you can get problems in main. And you have, okay, one more important question again, skip how many days. Now that was already covered in the previous webinar, but still I would like to focus that if you are preparing for main, okay, then obviously now you are over with the syllabus in the school, you will be having pre-boards and all. Don't focus much on pre-boards and all, because you will be given 1 month, you will be wasting 1 month in March also for the boards. So those who are targeting at main and advanced, they should try to go schools only on those days when they are having practicals or some important work. Do not waste your time in school. Even if you are going to school, make sure you carry 1 or 2 books with you and you do problems while traveling, while you're in the school. So skip as many as days. For people staying in India, this is very easy. Okay, for people staying in India, it's not difficult. But obviously, students and people who are watching right now from outside India, in maybe in Middle East and other places. So if you have problems in skipping the school, talk to your teachers, tell them your problem, and skip as many as days you can, maximum. Even if I say if you go only for 1 month in in the remaining 3-4 months of school, that will be too much. Means you should try to skip school as much as possible. Okay. So coming to our, continuing with our 4th week plan now. So 4th week plan is basically, it's the time where we'll be seeing our 3 topics that we have prepared, combined test, how we can appear. Again for that, as I mentioned, if you join askIItians test series, you have a option of customizing your test according to your performances. If you are feeling that you want to go somewhere else, definitely you can go, but make sure you are giving customized test after these 3 weeks. Do not go for complete 30 questions from all over topics, only from the topics which you have done, so that now your score should be more than 60-70%, because you have prepared those topics, and let us say in JEE main 15 questions are coming from that. So if I am able to attempt 70%, means 11 questions I'll be doing for sure. So those 11 questions are at least confirmed by now, right? And in this 1 week we'll improve as we'll be solving more problems. Plus we can also get an idea here how much I need to do in the remaining 2 weeks, right? So basically in this 4th week, first 3-4 days should go in attempting 7-8 tests, in which we'll be discovering where we are still weak, and we can give 1 test each day in the last 3 days, followed by the preparation of whatever is being done for the remedial of the topics that we are lagging in. Now after that, the remaining topics, again as I've already mentioned, you can, if you want to have anything queries related to your test series, you can just contact on this link and you can get details of our test series as well. Now time for the week 5. Now once we have done, again if those students are going smoothly following it, whatever I am saying, they will definitely get good results after the week 4, and their confidence level will be so high. Now in 5th, 6th week they will be able to do more than what I have stated here, right? Now in this we will be working upon strengths and weaknesses, because the earlier topics which I mentioned, they were must do for anyone, whether it's your weakness or whether it's your strength. So you have to do those topics anyhow in order to clear JEE main in advance. Now let us say my calculus is not that good, right? So I'll be saving some time from there. Now that time I can put, if permutation, combination, binomial and probability, they are on your strength list, it's a good news for you. Keeping in mind that you need to just you'll be expecting 3-4 questions again from these topics, and that too easy. From probability, the questions are so easy to attempt, you will even feel in JEE advanced, yeah, this question could have been solved very easily. If you do not do it right now, you will regret after coming from your paper. Again, this week will be very crucial, because if you are good in matrices and determinants, if you are good in probability, whatever topics from remaining lot you're good at, you have to give for that. Okay, and again, do not forget test at the end of the week, because 1 day should be going in the analysis where we are having this thing how to move ahead, because if you have not prepared well, we need to stop, we need to prepare there itself. And the 6th week I have given, one thing I forgot to mention, that these 6 weeks need not to be in continuation. Like first 2 weeks you can keep in first 10 days, right, continuously till you complete geometry. Then you can study chemistry, physics. Obviously, we will be having webinars on that next week. Physics, Mr. Santosh will be taking that webinar. So he will be discussing the strategies on physics as well. So these week plans are not to be done together. You can segregate these weeks because you have got approximately 12 to 13 weeks before your boards are there. And after that, again, during the board, some people will be finding time, and ultimately you have to search out from time. And again, how to search for time, that also we will be having a webinar on that, okay, where we will be discussing about how to optimize your time. In the meanwhile, if you want before that any questions regarding to your timetable, how to manage, you can definitely fill the details in the form given to you, and definitely you can get in contact with an IITian, and you will get to know about your timetable from that conversation for sure. So coming to our next week plan, as I've told about miscellaneous chapters, you have to also cover in this week, concluding 5th week. You have to keep 1 or 2 days from mathematical induction, mathematical reasoning, relations and stats. Again, from relations also questions are coming, sets and relation, they are coming in main, obviously not in advanced for sure, but in main, if I'm talking about, you should focus on these 4 topics. Truly, they are absolutely easy to score in main. Their time will be approximately 1 to 2 minutes, which is very good, keeping in mind the time that we are having. And again, practice test in this week. Coming to our concluding week, we are basically ready to attempt 50% of the paper if we follow for the main, and 30 to 40% paper for the advanced if we follow the guidelines properly. And test for both of them will be of different level. You should not mix main with advanced. Main is totally focusing on your speed, and advanced is totally focusing on your deep concepts. Advanced me, you don't need to have mugging up of formulas and all that. Everything advanced will be providing. If it is giving some new theory, so it will be giving it in the form of paragraph, and you don't need to mug up anything for the advanced. But yeah, main part, if you want to crack, for that you need speed. So for that there will be different test series pattern for that. For advanced, you will have different test series that you need to follow. So now in this you can actually prepare the weak topics which are lagging and they were on the most scoring list. Let us say permutation combination was not on my list, and I still have time in last week. So basically in this last week I will focus on the most scoring topics which are on the weak side. Okay, so again, I am not mentioning here 5-7 topics now because these are weak topics, so each topic might take 2 to 3 days, right? And in this week, the best thing is you can take a day off in this week and enjoy whatever you go with your friends, hangouts, and whatever you want to do, you can have one leisure day, okay, in between this, and that will actually keep your mood boosted, and you can just after that, again, there will be a time when you have to complete all the things, and you have to complete all the syllabus together, because this 3 subject plan is separate identity, and then the final week, final month plan will be different. So we will try to conclude by January end our physics, mathematics, and or maybe mid-February to the plan that we are having. For JEE main, again, we get hardly 1 week after boards, depending on our subjects and the mode we are choosing. For advanced, we still have 1 month more. Okay, so how to utilize that 1 month? Those who have cleared main, and they want to go for advanced, they definitely will be sharing in a different webinar, because this is a generic preparation that we are supposed to do before we conclude our whole studies. Right now, few more questions that are coming. That how many marks should we get, to get in JEE, IIT JEE? So again, as I mentioned, JEE, IIT JEE is a 2-tier process. First, you need to clear main. Now, for clearing main, you need to score around 30%. Now, clearing main means you are eligible for advanced. Does not mean you are through with the good rank, right? Getting a good rank and clearing are 2 different things, right? And first, our focus should be clearing the things, and then we should aim at scoring good rank. And talking about advanced, if you need to score in advanced, now for advanced, as I mentioned, paper pattern is not fixed, Every year it is varying. Till last year it was 20 questions in each paper of each subject, and there are 2 papers for JEE Advanced. This thing I forgot. So thanks a lot the person who has asked this question. Basically I forgot to tell about the paper pattern for JEE Advanced. So there are 2 papers for JEE Advanced in the same day, and 2 papers are not something different, right? They can have multiple choice questions, integer type, paragraph. In main there is no difference in the question pattern. All of them are single choice correct, and you will be having a single choice answer for that. Whereas in advanced you can have multiple choice also, where you are having more than one correct answer. Then you can have integer type, paragraph, matrix matching. So these 4-5 patterns of questions are distributed over 2 papers, right? It's not like person has to give in paper 1 or paper 2 separately like that. They will be on same day, same course, right? But few topics will be coming in the first paper, few will be coming in the second paper. Now the marks for each question is not defined. Sometimes like 2 years back it was just +3 and -1. So that was in that the total was, if you calculate it, 360 again, right? But every year it is not same, it is varying, and roughly for any score around 25 to 30% is again the cutoff for JEE Advanced as well. Now if you are having mathematics mark expectation following my guidelines, right? Now that is again a very subjective question. The plan which we have prepared, you will be comfortably able to attempt 17 to 20 problems in JEE Main, which is very good. Okay, if you just follow properly test series, properly, the topics which I have told. For JEE Advanced, out of 40 if I am taking, you will be at least in a position to attempt 15 problems for sure if you follow these topics. Because among these, even if I am saying I am 70% correct, okay, if my prediction is around 50% of the questions will come from these topics which we have discussed, we have left few topics as well, right? So those we are keeping in the low probability, right? So let us say questions from them come in high this year, still you will be able to attempt minimum of 15 questions in advance, which is quite good. Like if you are just talking about clearing the marks, clearing JEE Advanced again is good. Like if you are clearing JEE Main, you will not get good college, but clearing JEE Advanced, you will not get a good branch, good IIT, but at least you will be in top 10,000 list, which itself is a very, very good thing. So basically this was my, again, the last thing, that I was about to discuss, which was being asked itself, like what is the expectation. So conclusion is that I cannot do any magic to make you clear. I have given you the steps, plus we are discussing at least 3 to 4 techniques every day in our classrooms. So for that, obviously you can have a discussion one-on-one, that how to increase our score and all. And if I am good, because that plan will be specific to every student. If I am good in calculus, I will be going it in the first week. But this 6-week plan we can go for, first 3 weeks can be done, interchanged depending on our strengths and weaknesses. But for each student to student it varies. If you are already at a good position, then obviously this plan will score you over 22 questions in JEE Main and over 25 questions in JEE Advanced. But if you are just beginning, if you are just starting, then definitely the minimum which I have told, minimum 15 problems you will be able to score in Main, keeping in mind you follow all the things, and minimum of 12 to 15 problems in JEE Advanced for sure in mathematics, because for that the level of problems is very high. So keep yourself tuned for askIItian webinar series, which is coming in the next weeks. I will be signing off here, and for any queries, obviously for more interesting concepts, for more interesting discussion, you can just arrange a counseling session. I'll be signing off right now, and it was very nice, all of you. Thanks for coming and attending the webinar, and I hope you like the webinar and you will be following the tips and tricks which I have shared. You will be keeping in mind the things which I have told, right? And all the very best to all my students. And this is Harsh Patodia signing off from askIItians. Good luck.